Our pro tem, Darrell Steinberg, embodies the true meaning of a public servant. On a daily basis, Darrell is someone who seeks to make a difference, to help the people who are least likely to help themselves. Bud and Arlene Steinberg must be recognized for raising a true mensch, and Darrell Steinberg. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for raising a truly great human being. Now, Darrell was raised with strong, very strong Jewish values. He embodies the very essence of the cornerstone of Jewish teaching, tikkun olam. Tikkun olam. Tikkun olam is the concept that humanity's shared responsibility is to heal, is to repair, and to transform the world. To repair the world through community service and good deeds. Tikkun olam is how Darrell manifests his Jewish identity through his public service. Now, this started at a very, very early age and continues today. Back in Millbrae, a little south of San Francisco, in the 3rd grade, he was the recipient of the Good Citizenship Award. At Capuchino High School, he served in student government. When he sees an injustice, he is the first person to speak up. As a law student here at UC Davis, his advocacy ensured that the moot courtroom was made accessible to wheelchairs. He's an amazing leader, a very rare quality, as Senator Mark Leno just articulated a few moments ago. He is someone that can take an idea from concept to fruition, and there's always follow through. As a young leader in Sacramento, one of Darrell's earliest leadership roles was chair of the Jewish Community Relations Council, and there he organized a trip to the former Soviet Union with a former legislator, now Judge Lode Connolly. And at that time, Darrell met his incredible and very beautiful and very distinguished wife, Julie Steinberg. Now, he was at the Tahoe Park Neighborhood Association. He was, I should say, the Tahoe Park Neighborhood Association president, and he can't stand by when work needs to be done. He's always volunteering for his community, always the public servant. And as we know, Julie is the cantor at the synagogue at Temple down here in Land Park, the 9th Temple, which I know the rabbi has complained quite incessantly that when Darrell Steinberg shows up, instead of praying and doing what he needs to do, he's always socializing all the time as he's trying to collect votes among the parishioners, at the temple. So when Darrell ran for the assembly for the very first time back in 1998, he told his political advisor that he wanted to make community mental health his very top priority. And he was told, Darrell, it's a bad idea. Now, the same thing happened when he pursued Proposition 63, the Mental Health Services Act, for the November 2014, or I should say 2004, ballot. It started with an idea: raise the income tax on the wealthiest of Californians and use the revenue to expand community mental health services. Again, he was told by his political advisors, this is not a winning issue. And what did Darrell do? How did Darrell respond? In both cases, he followed his heart. He followed his passion. He did what he believed was right, even when it was not popular. And in both of these cases, he persevered and he won. He persevered, and on Prop 63 victory, our pro tem accomplished what so many have failed to do, and so many have tried. To put this in context, and I wish Governor Jerry Brown was here, since 1992, there have been 23 attempts to raise revenue at the ballot box. Now, we're California. We are left-leaning California. We are a democratic state. But contrary to popular belief and myth, the last 23 years, there have only been 3 ballot initiatives that raised revenue at the ballot box. Back in 1992, then Republican Governor Pete Wilson passed 174, a sales tax increase for public safety. Then a gentleman who we know by the name of Meathead, and All in the Family, Rob Reiner, passed a tobacco tax. We've seen so many revenue enhancement measures fell at the ballot box, whether it's oil severance tax, whether it's split property roll tax, another version of tobacco tax, another personal income tax. But it was Darrell Steinberg in 2004 with Prop 63, when everyone thought, quote unquote, that he was crazy because he wanted to raise taxes on the wealthiest of Californians, the millionaire's tax, so he can provide mental health services to those who need it the most. Up to then, Darrell, Pete Wilson, and Rob Reiner, the only three individuals in the last 2 decades to actually pass revenue enhancement at the ballot box. And he was told he couldn't do it. And he was told, quote unquote, ironically speaking, pun intended, that he was crazy, that he wanted to help those who were mentally ill and who needed the services. And thanks to you, we have these services, my friend. Thanks to you. Thanks to you, those who have mental health challenges, regardless of who they are and where they come from, have a fusion of resources because of Prop 63. Now, his service heart, his core passion to help those who need it most made the budget situation in 2008 as well as 2009 incredibly painful for him. He had to make cuts that were the antithesis of what brought him to public services. And throughout the years, Darrell was a stronghold of making sure whatever damage had to be done was done as minimal as possible. Without question, the deck of cards that Darrell received because the world financial meltdown globally and had such an adverse impact on everyday Californians. I think one can characterize Darrell's pro tempship during a good chunk of those years as a wartime president of the California State Senate, doing everything possible with such limited resources to save those who need saving, those who are marginalized in the state, in our own communities. And that was Darrell. When some folks wanted to bring a hatchet, a meat cleaver to the budget, he did everything possible with precision and with a surgical hand to try to save as much as he can possible. And when this is all over, and we characterize and we go through the lore of all the pro tems, John Burton did never face what you faced as a pro tem. Don Parada never faced what you faced as a pro tem. Bill Lockyer never faced what you faced as a pro tem, nor did David Alberti, nor anyone preceding those individuals. You truly came in the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression, and you held it together. You held the caucus together. And that's a credible testament to your leadership, but your core values, tikkun olam, service to those throughout the world in our own community. Now, in 2009, during the budget negotiations, they all stayed up. Many folks were here, stayed up to 2, 3 in the morning, all night-long sessions. And when the sun came up, Darrell went home and he took a jog. He took a jog and then promptly returned to the Capitol. A constituent of Darrell saw him in the neighborhood running, and he wrote a letter to the Sacramento Bee saying that Steinberg was slacking off and should be here working on the budget. And this is a true story. 2, 3 in the morning, takes a jog, goes home, comes back to work, and sees a letter in editorial pages that Steinberg is a big slacker. He should be in the Capitol doing his job. Now that the economy has improved quite dramatically, Darrell has worked to restore as many services as possible. And I can't imagine a better leader to get us through a Great Depression. Now, he has a beautiful wife and Julie, 2 great kids, Ari, Jordana, 2 great parents, Arlene and Bud Steinberg. We went to Mexico together for the first time a couple years ago. We went to the Museum of Tolerance in Mexico City. And seeing Darrell in Mexico City, along with our Republican leader, Bob Huff, and a few of our colleagues here today, was magical. To engage with the elected officials, to engage with the policymakers in Mexico City, to understand how intricately linked we are with our neighbor to the south, gave, I believe, Darrell major ideas for his political agenda. He just came back, as we know, from El Salvador. He led the trip to El Salvador, the legislative trip. And coming back, it was through his initiative, how do we deal with the young children, the unaccompanied minors who have crossed this border seeking refuge? There's diverse opinions on this issue across the board, and we respect everyone's opinion. But it was through his initiative, meeting with the president of El Salvador, meeting with the secretaries of the cabinet, meeting with the US ambassador. And while in El Salvador, just a few months ago, with our majority leader, Ellen Corbett, you negotiated a deal. You did what the State Department could not do in Washington, D.C. You did what the Secretary of the State could not do. You did what the US ambassador could not do. You helped negotiate with the president $250 million that were frozen in an account from the State Department to the government of El Salvador because the Salvadoran government didn't want to do a few things politically. But after long hours of discussing the issue and dealing with the poverty and the plight of these young children, the following day, you convinced them to do the right thing. And they passed it in Congress so they could receive those dollars. And it was you, Daryl. You, Daryl, who did that. No limelight, no media, no help from counselors from the State Department. It was your own initiative, Tikkun Alam. You doing what you need to do because you know it's the right thing to do. And that's an amazing testament to who you are as an individual, Daryl. Now, Daryl was a great partner to me on retirement security, SB 1234. He was my joint author. You also were a great partner for me on Prop 39 on single sales factor when we dealt with it here together in the legislative branch, but as well when we went to the ballot initiative. You always said to me, go for it, Kevin. You always gave me political space. You always gave me, always kudos. You always lifted me up. You always handed the ball all the time. You always shared. That always stayed with me. And one thing then, and I think I've mentioned on a few occasions, and one of the most difficult times politically, not personally, politically, the day, obviously, when I was not the Speaker of the California State Assembly. It was December 10th on my birthday. Democratic Caucus, Stanford Mansion, and there was a vote. Then after the vote, I came to my office. I walked to my office by myself, because at that time when you're not the leader, no one wants to be around you. You're as toxic as can be, and no one wants to be, everyone wants to get as far away as possible. So I walked over from the Stanford Mansion by myself to my office on the second floor, the Appropriations Office of the Assembly. And I just went to my office, and I just sort of sat there all by myself, and actually was doing nothing because nobody was calling me at all whatsoever, and it was like that. Then all of a sudden, my assistant came into the office and says, the President Pro Tem, Daryl Steinberg, is in the lobby and would like to talk to you. And first I thought that was the rarest thing. Well, what's a pro tem doing on the assembly side, let alone an assembly member's office? And I was stunned, I was surprised, but I was curious also too. And I said, absolutely, please send him in. And I had no idea why you were there. And Daryl Steinberg walked into my office, and with open arms, he said, I want to know how you're doing. How are you feeling? No, I can tell you, Kevin, that you're a good man. And I can tell you that I'd love to welcome you with open arms in the California State Senate. And be mindful about one thing. I had very limited knowledge of the culture, the history, the institution, the values of this great Senate body. Limited, other than the times when I'd come here, present a bill like everyone else, come here and cajole and try to persuade other folks to support my bills that were stuck on the Senate floor. Short of that, no experience or exposure to the Senate. And my mindset was not to run for the Senate. And it was Daryl Steinberg. It was Daryl Steinberg who convinced me. It was Daryl Steinberg who opened up his arms. It was Daryl Steinberg who accepted me. And I will never forget that, Daryl, because you are a true mensch. You are un hermano. You are a brother. You lend yourself to those who historically, again, who need the lending from a brother like you. You are an individual who elevates, as we've talked about on numerous occasions. Don't put other folks down. We elevate everyone together. We make everyone succeed. That's who you are, Daryl. And you're the true embodiment of the spirit of the Senate, but not just beyond the Senate. Because our relationship, as we all know, among colleagues, among friends, relationships, bonds can be quite transactional. But a friendship with Daryl Steinberg transcends and transforms. It goes beyond the immediate short and midterm gratification and transaction that one needs and wants of whatever their interest is, short, mid, or long term. Daryl's friendship is a bond that transcends the Senate and goes beyond this beautiful Capitol. That's what true friendship is. That's what a true bond is. That's what a true mensch is. That's what a true hermano is. I've become a better person because of you, Daryl. I think I've become a better legislator, policy-wise, because of you. I owe you that direct influence on me, just being around you, engaging you, watching you, asking questions, receiving constructive input from you in a way that's always done in a very holistic, positive way, lifting folks up always. That's who you've been. I have been truly honored, truly honored to have the opportunity to be your friend, and I will forever, always be indebted to you. This Senate will always forever be indebted to you, the state of California, and the people of California, Latino, African American, white, black, Jewish, non-Jewish, Catholics, everyone will always be indebted to you for how you fought for them, how you fought for their values, how you championed them when they had no champion. No bigger champion than Daryl Steinberg. Mi hermano, gracias. Un abrazo muy fuerte. Thank you.